So tonight's class is going to look a little bit different than you might be used to seeing, but it's a remix of the Lugnasa service that I did at the end of July. So at the Unitarian Universalist congregation, the UUCFL, I'm on the Sunday service committee, and I lead all of the pagan and earth-based Sunday services for the most part that are done with our Wheel of the Year. So this is welcome to our CUUPs online gathering. Today, August 26th, we are doing a CUUPs class on UU paganism by me, Birch. So as I said before, I'm a member of the Sunday Services Committee at the UUCFL, as well as, of course, one of us here at CUUPs. And so to show you a little bit about what UU paganism looks like and feels like within the context of a Unitarian congregation, I'm going to be taking you through the Lugnasa service remixed for this class. So follow along with me as we go ahead with our chalice lighting. Now, in the Unitarian Universalist faith, the chalice is the symbol. It represents a lot of different things. It can be, of course, the spirit. It can be mind, the enlightenment, many different interpretations. And the chalice lighting is usually a short verse that will say, as we light the chalice. And so then go here. So we'll say, the fire that burns in our bodies reminds us we are alive. The fire that warms us reminds us of comfort. The fire that dances reminds us of joy. The fire that burns reminds us of caution. And the fire that, reminds us we are more than ourselves. And the fire in the flaming chalice reminds us of all that we can accomplish. Now I'm going to have Alba go ahead and say our next part here with her broom. I'm going to spotlight you. Hold on a second, Alba. There we go. And I'll stop the sharing while you do your spotlighted view. There you go. All yours.
Besom, besom, witch's broom, sweep out darkness, sweep out gloom, sweep, sweep, sweep away, sweep, sweep, sweep away.
Okay. Thank you, Alba, for sweeping our circle. So next we're gonna, now this isn't a usual part of a service, but for Lugnasa and a lot of our pagan services, I'll include other aspects too, such as this one, where we will go ahead and cast the circle. I cast this circle round and round. By its magic, we are bound. I cast this circle round and round. By its magic, we are bound. I cast this circle round and round. By its magic, we are bound. All right, next we're going to have a song, hymn 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are, to call together our circle.
Come, come, whoever you are, wonder a worshiper, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wonder a worshiper, come. 'Cause ours is not a caravan of despair. 'Cause ours is not a caravan of despair. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha. despair. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. Come, come, even if you have broken your vows 1,000 times. Come, come, even if you have broken your vows 1,000 times. For ours is not a caravan of despair. 'Cause ours is not a caravan of despair. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer worshipper, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer worshipper, come. 'Cause ours is not a caravan of despair. 'Cause ours is not a caravan of despair. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah.
Okay, so with that, our circle has been called together, and we will continue with our mock service with a part that many of you will be familiar with, calling to the 4 directions. Starting in the east, I declare peace in the east. And you can turn to the south. I declare peace in the south. And turn to the west. I declare peace in the west. And turn to the north. I declare peace in the north. Let peace come to all within our circle today. Now we're going to call in spirit with the song Spirit of Life, which I have another video for. So with that, we call the spirit into the circle. All right, so this next part lighting the ritual fires is a little unique personal gnosis that I've added into a lot of my private rituals, including the monthly bloats that I hold during the UU drumming. So there's 9 candles total. And once I'm done here, I'm going to switch back the screen sharing so you can watch a little more carefully this part. But the 9 candles stand for each of the 3 groups of 3. So obviously a lot of us have heard maiden, mother, crone, which is the triad often associated with the goddess. Then the other one, the masculine version, of course, is boy, father, sage. And for me personally, I've always felt very drawn to a non-binary third version of those, of the masculine and the feminine, which consists of child, hunter, and wise one. So whenever I hold a blot or ritual, when I calls for candles in honor of any of these, I tend to do all 9, which has the added bonus for me as a Germanic heathen, in that in the heathen tradition, 9 is a sacred number, because 9 is the number of the days that Odin hung from the tree, Yggdrasil, to acquire the wisdom of the runes. It was the traditional number of sacrifices if you were giving a sacrifice to the gods. And 9 also holds a lot of power in other branches of numerology too, I know. So I'm going to stop sharing for a moment while I go ahead and light the fires. All right. So the first goes to the mother, the maiden, and the crone. So maiden, mother, and crone. The second goes for the boy, the father, and the sage. And the third is the child, the hunter, and the wise one. So you can pretend, so these fires are going to burn throughout the rest of our ritual service, and you can pretend that they are our ritual fire. If you remember the chalice from earlier, we also have a flaming chalice set up. That's been going since the chalice lighting. So now that the ritual fires have been lit, we can continue on. So this is a meditation, and I have a video that I'm going to show during the meditation, but most of the meditation is spoken. It's not based on the video. Everyone sit back, relax, put your feet flat on the floor, and prepare for our next meditation. Close your eyes and put your feet flat on the floor. Take a deep breath in. Hold it and feel the tension in your chest. Release. Feel that tension slip away. Relax. Now take a second deep breath. Hold it. Feel the tension in your shoulders. Let it slip away. Relax. Release. Now take a third deep breath. Hold it. Feel the tension in your neck. Let it slip away. Release. Relax. Breathe in. Breathe out. Feel all the lingering tension in your body slip away and breathe. First, let yourself become aware of your feet, how they rest upon the ground, leveling you with the earth. Then your thighs, your knees. Place your hands on your knees and feel them. Note all the parts of your knee, top to bottom. Next, turn your attention to the base of your spine. Place your hand by your waist. See the red light shining there. Affirmation of security, strength, power. Travel up the red light along your body to just below your belly button. See the orange light there and place your hand on your belly button. This is where you are tied to your mother before your birth. Warmth and creativity flowers here, sparking new life into your inner self. Continue to trace the lines of orange light up your body to where it turns yellow at the center of your chest. Place your hand on your sternum. Feel it move up and down as your lungs pump oxygen into your body. It blazes like a sun, formed of your inner strength and brilliance, keeping you centered and strong. As the lights continue to flow upward along your body, see where it turns to green, right at your heart. Place your hand on your heart and feel it beating your life's rhythm beneath your fingers, like emerald of love and compassion, deep within your center. It shimmers up from your heart into your throat, where the blue beams from your neck to your eyes. Place your hands on your throat. Feel the blood pulsing in your veins, below the softness of your neck. Feel how it forms a calming blue light, bringing with it communication, movement, flowing like water. Continue to move your hands now above your eyes and see with the indigo light shining at your third eye, centered in your forehead, linking you to the spirit within. Place your fingers on your forehead. Caress the skin of your forehead as if you're wiping away all of your cares. Notice how it carries all of your intuition within the indigo glow. And above you, a purple light beckons like a beacon above your head. 2 inches above your skull, you see how you are linked to the broader universe by this purple-violet lighthouse ray, which is also a part of you. Rest your hand, palm up, at the top of your head. Feel the very peak of your body on the back of your hand. All of this is you, from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. To transcend, you must first become aware of yourself, all of yourself. For you are you, and however you see yourself, however you feel about yourself, you are valid, you are real, you matter. Take a moment now, before we continue, to be in your body, to experience your body, and to thank your body for all that it does and has done every day of your life. Now go ahead and open your eyes. It's time to continue with our Thursday journey. Okay. And so now we're going to get to the meat and potatoes part of this presentation. What does it mean to be a UU pagan? And we're going to look specifically at a tree's perspective, because of course I am Birch. And I love my birch trees, I can't help it. So Unitarian Universalist paganism, the covenant of Unitarian Universalist pagans, Moonpath CUUPs. If you've been following along with us as we've done our year and a day classes, you've seen us cover many of the different belief paths which crisscross the forest known as paganism. And as the year goes on, you're going to see even more come up. And this is only fitting, of course, because there are many such paths which cut through the pagan forest on which we might walk. Sometimes we start on one, we find ourselves wandering onto another. Some people love skipping between paths. Some people find a path that really speaks to them and they'll walk it happily forever after. And some people, like me, will sometimes just stop walking on the path altogether, find the nearest tree, and give it a big hug. However you express yourself as a pagan, you often will find a person who understands in a group like CUUPs, because again, we have people of many different spiritual paths coming together. And so the interesting thing, of course, is we tell you every Thursday, we call ourselves pagan because we have folks of many different beliefs. We also tell you about our host congregation, the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Fort Lauderdale, which has given us our place to be, to worship, to gather, to have fires and circles and rituals and dancing and witches' balls. Ever since, CUUPs was first founded back in the early 90s there. CUUPs has been there for a very long time. And the Unitarian Universalist and Universalism is like paganism in that it's not a single path you can walk through the forest. If you speak to a Unitarian Universalist, you're going to find all kinds of different people on any given Sunday. You're going to find people like me who show up with a cape and a stick and will tell anyone who will listen about monotheism versus polytheism at the faintest provocation, which come up surprisingly often. You'll find humanists, Christians, Buddhists, seekers, atheists. You'll run the whole gamut of people just sitting around having coffee after service on a Sunday. And so what is interesting about Unitarian Universalist paganism, again, if you think about all of belief or any particular belief system as a forest through which you might have different paths, a Unitarian Universalist pagan is then a person whose path tends to meander between the Unitarian forest and the pagan forest, and it just kind of crisscrosses back and forth along the border of the two. Unitarian Universalism isn't a set of beliefs, but is a shared set of principles. Principles about supporting other people as they search and expand upon their own spiritual knowledge of themselves and other people. It's about believing in democracy, about believing in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And it's also about respecting the earth, recognizing that we're just one piece of a vast web of people and plants and animals and places and oceans that all rely upon each other on our Gaia, on our earth. And so being a Unitarian Universalist pagan is all about meandering along that little path that connects the two. And so, of course, as well as, the inherent worth and dignity, believing each person is important, that's principle number one. Principle number two is the belief that all people should be respected and treated fairly and justly. Third principle is the idea, like I was saying, of supporting one another as you search for whatever truth or meaning you're meant to find in this life. Fourth principle, we believe that search should be true, fair, and responsible. That we're responsible for ourselves as we carry out this search for truth in a manner that is fair and takes responsibility for what we do. Number 6, we believe in working for a peaceful, fair, and free world, bringing justice, equality, equity of human relations, human and animal, human and earth relations, which all brings back to the 7th principle, which was added by the Unitarian Universalist pagans. We believe in caring for our planet Earth, the home we share with all living things. And so Unitarian Universalists and pagans, even though Unitarian Universalism is descended from 2 different Christian beliefs, Unitarianism and Universalism, both of those beliefs systems back in the 19th century began looking beyond just Christianity and the Bible to all of the world religions and also to the natural world to find knowledge, to find truth, to find meaning. And so by the time they merged in 1961, as we know as pagans, around the 1960s was when a lot of people started rediscovering their pagan paths as well. Unitarian Universalists, based on their own history with naturalism, transcendentalism, was one of the places where a lot of early pagans found a home. And so that was where Unitarian Universalist paganism came in, right as paganism was starting to establish itself in the world again. A lot of pagans started checking out the Unitarian Universalists, and they were among the first to accept, hey, you know what, paganism, pretty cool. Let's get in on this bandwagon. So to be a Unitarian Universalist pagan is to live and walk a path at the intersection of 2 forests, to be a person who walks the natural way with eyes of spiritual wonder. Whether theistic or not, we don't judge. You do you. You search for whatever truth, whatever meaning you're meant to find in the world. And so, may sound easy, but sometimes it can be hard to, take this path, to be both, because not everybody's perfect. Sometimes you do find the people who are going to come out and say, what's that? Why do you have a stick? Luckily, they stop asking why you have a stick after you demonstrate your skill at a Yule service, but it still probably is going on in the back of their heads. I'm sure they just don't say it out loud anymore. It's easy in that the 4th principle admonishes the Unitarian Universalist to always be seeking and help others who seek. It's easy because at heart, paganism is a lived religion, and there are many ways to express that faith. It's easy also because principles and even sources, our 5th source, 6th source, were put there by Unitarian Universalist pagans. Source number 6 is the lessons and teaching of the natural world and earth-based religions. That's an official source of Unitarian Universalism. So it's easy in that there have been those other pagans who have come first and paved the way for later pagans like me to find a spiritual home within a Unitarian Universalist congregation on a Sunday morning. But it's hard too, in that justice and kindness and democracy and a peaceful world are not always easy things to come by. The Havamal teaches us that we should never walk too far ahead of our sword and spear, because you cannot know by hunches alone where danger lurks on the open road. And to accept, encourage, and go beyond tolerance to open support and love for those whom you share radically different beliefs is seldom easy. Again, we're all humans. Our nature tells us we have a tribe and this is where we belong, this is where we should be. So breaking down those barriers as an individual sometimes can be very difficult. but I find it's deeply worthwhile and rewarding to make that change, to make that effort, because when you lower your barriers and they lower their barriers, and you can sit down and have an open discussion as a polytheistic, literal interpretation of the gods pagan with a diehard atheist, and you're both walking away without coming to blows at the end of that conversation, it's a good feeling. It proves that there's still some good in all of us, that we can do these sorts of things. And a big part of being, again, a UU pagan is you've had those experiences and you learn how to have those conversations. So, as I said, there's always that disconnect. There's definitely sometimes a feeling that you know for a fact that that hymn definitely came from one of the other sources that you may not get along with so well. But it teaches you that tolerance, that acceptance. And at the end of the day, it's all about trying to make yourself a better person. You may not be able to sweep away 2,000 years of institutional dislike in a single morning, but you can start to build those bridges. And it's encouraging that those bridges can and are being built. And another really positive note that I find with, pagans in the Unitarian Universalist setting is we tend to be very idealistic, magically minded, driven people. Because for us, protecting the earth isn't just about vague ideas of environmentalism. For those like me, the earth is quite literally my goddess. And if you mess with the earth, you're messing with my goddess. You piss me off enough about that, and you're going to have words and blows. So it's a thing that a lot of pagans can bring into that broader toolkit of trying to make the world a better place, and that we have the energy, we have the motivation, and we have the spell work. Obviously you can never discount the power of a well-cast, well-timed spell to make the world a better place. You got to put in the effort, you got to put in the groundwork, you got to pave those stones. But the more tools you bring into the arsenal, the better. So for us, there is no disconnect between the earth, between humanity, between animal and plant kind, and all the other kingdoms that Mother Earth nourishes. And we see these struggles through the eyes of a minority group that has fought for a place to be and to exist and to live after millennia of oppression and struggle and having to be kept quiet. So we bring that minority perspective, we bring that desire for social change and environmental change, and we bring the power of magic. We see their struggle through eyes trained by millennia of lost heritage and tradition, with ears that can hear the songs of animals and trees without needing translation into human tongues, and hands that can cast spells as well as wave picket signs. So we are, in short, a force to be reckoned with. And on a weekly level, much of Unitarian Universalist paganism looks a lot like I am showing you tonight. When I hold a service, it is often squeezed in to fit into a service just like any other service. This is a mock-up of the very service I did a few weeks ago that you're watching. It's led by a member of the Sunday Service Committee. It just so happens that their Sunday Service Committee contains their resident tree. And so that same tree, who sometimes when she's not giving a service will still walk in carrying her staff, cape, dress, once in a while a nice pointy fiber magic hat if I'm really feeling brazen, couple of necklaces, and after a while it elicits nothing more than compliments on a very stylish turnout. So that's my take on what it means to be a Unitarian Universalist pagan. And let us now begin to wrap up our Thursday night service. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint now. Okay, so that is a tree's perspective. So now we're going to give thanks and release to all who joined us. Thank you to all who joined in the north. Hail and farewell. Thank you to all who joined in the west. Hail and farewell. Thank you to all who joined in the south. Hail and farewell. And thank you to those who joined in the east. Hail and farewell. And to the spirit of life, may you ever come unto us. Hail and farewell. Now we're going to do our chalice extinguishing. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.